Coming right up, Straight Talk with Art Levine. Our guest tonight, Long Beach City Auditor Laura Doud, as we continue our 26th anniversary year.
Straight Talk is brought to you in part by the Port of Long Beach, a leader in international trade and environmental stewardship. And the Press Telegram, your local news leader for over 100 years. And Scan Health Plan, for your health and independence.
Join us for tonight's edition of Straight Talk. And now your host, Art Levine.
Good evening and welcome to Straight Talk. We have a great show for you tonight. Our guest for the entire show is our Long Beach City Auditor, Laura Doud. Laura, welcome back to Straight Talk.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
I think it's your 10th visit with us, and we appreciate your taking the time to come. And you have announced that you are running again for City Auditor.
Yes, I have. I am. This will be my 4th time running, and it's really been a pleasure to serve the community. It's been very fulfilling professionally. Long Beach is a beautiful city.
Yes, it is. And it's a 4-year term that you're running for?
Yes, that's right.
And I just learned that you have never had an opponent after your first race where you defeated the incumbent. But your second 4-year term and your third term, and to me that says something about the fact that people think you're doing a pretty good job.
Well, thank you. I really enjoy working for the city that I was born in, that I was raised in, that I went to school. I've lived here all my life. I love this beautiful city, and it really is very rewarding to do work for the city that you love and to find improvements to better serve the public and the community. So it's been a really wonderful experience.
This is kind of your dream job, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it was pretty much tailor-made for me and my skills and education that I have. As you know, it requires a CPA. And so I'm grateful that I was able to receive an education, a wonderful education at Cal State Long Beach, and receive my accounting degree, and then receive my CPA license. And that prepared me very well for this position.
And you also, just for the record, have a law degree. And our guest last week, Shirok Sheikh, who's also a graduate of Long Beach State and was AS Vice President while he was here, talked about how law is a valuable training even if you don't practice law.
Yes, very much so. It really taught me to think. And, you know, we're inundated with a lot of facts, and you have to be able to take those facts and identify what is the issue, what is the problem we're trying to solve. Because our audit results ultimately result in solutions. We're trying to find solutions and ensuring that the city is in compliance with the rules.
You know, that takes me back to law school, and you're absolutely right. We spent 3 years basically learning how to isolate what is important and what's the key question.
Right, exactly. It's not easy. It's not as
No.
easy as it looks.
Well, you've certainly done a great job for us, and your audits have impact. They just don't sit on the shelf. Talk a little bit about what happens to these audits.
Yes, you know, I really like the way you use that word impact and the way you said it, because that's the whole key. We want our reports to have impact, and we want them to be implemented. A lot of work, sweat, and sometimes tears go into our audit reports. And, you know, the reports come out looking beautiful, but what goes into creating a solid, relevant, credible, error-free, bulletproof audit report? There's a lot of work that goes into that.
Sure.
And if it's not worthy of something that we feel very passionate about, we don't issue it. And so we want to make sure these audit reports are not just sitting on the shelves, but they are being implemented. And some departments may think, well, what role does the auditor play in implementation anyway? So that's why we have gone back and done an implementation audit to ensure that our recommendations are being implemented, that change is happening, that changes are being made, and that our reports are making a difference. So we did do that audit of the implementation report and found out that 71% of our audit recommendations had been implemented. And we came out with a report and showed that over a 5-year period of time, approximately $80 million worth of city revenue and assets are better protected.
Fantastic. Well, everyone really wants to feel that what they're doing makes a difference. And particularly when you put the amount of work in as you were describing it, it has to be very satisfying. Also, I know that when you go and select a department to be audited, you try and make them understand that you're not there as their enemy. You're trying to help them upgrade their efficiency, and I think the word's gone out that you're not trying to do a gotcha.
Right. Thank you for bringing that up, because there is some fear and anxiety when the auditor shows up. But our style has always been one of collaboration and partnership and communicating, having a very open line of communication with the director of the departments, with the staff of the departments. Because if you take a step back and look at this thing big picture, the commonality we all have within the city of Long Beach is that we love this community. It can be better. We all want it to be better, so how can we work together to make it better?
Amen, amen. And the fact that they know that you're going to be coming back at some point in the future to see what's happened, I would imagine is an incentive to implement.
Yes, it does provide some motivation to do that. And so yes, we do go back and check to make sure that these things are working.
And $80 million, like Dirksen said, $1 billion here, $1 billion, that's real money. That's a lot of money.
Yes, that's right. And I think we have made some very good recommendations that have had positive impacts on the community, and I'm excited to share some of those reports with you today.
Well, I know Prop H was a big one, and we'll speak about that when we come back from these commercial messages.
At the Port of Long Beach, we're not only delivering jobs, smart ideas, and forward-thinking environmental initiatives, we're also delivering opportunity for all of Southern California. Oh, and a clearer horizon line. To learn more, go to POLB.com, the Port of Long Beach, thinking outside the docks.
At Performance Plus Tire, you'll find we carry Toyo tires. For over 50 years, Toyo has been a world leader in the development of high-quality tires. Optimum performance, safety, and a comfortable ride. That's what makes Toyo tires great. And now come into Performance Plus Tire for a great deal on these Toyo tires. Proxys ST, Open Country AT, and Proxys 4. Toyo tires, driven to perform. Come in today and we'll install new Toyo tires on your vehicle while you wait. Performance Plus Tire on Cherry Avenue, 1 mile north of the 405 in Long Beach.
We're back continuing our conversation with our city auditor, Laura Doud. Prop 8, Prop H, I should say, had a very positive impact on the city. $33 million of new revenue to police and fire. That had to do with the pricing that we sell our oil and gas.
Yes, that's right. In 2006, when I came into office, I noticed that the oil production tax in the city of Long Beach had not been increased since it was implemented about 16 years plus before I got there. And as we reviewed surrounding cities, what the city of Long Beach was charging was much lower. So we took a 25-cent increase proposal to the city council and the mayor, and they agreed to put it on the ballot because, as you know, anytime a tax is increased, it goes on the ballot. And this was a tax increase on the oil producers,
So
not
that
consumers.
should be easy. Yeah.
Yes, well, it was very exciting because we put an education piece out there and worked with the mayor and the council and the business community to let the voters know that this was not a tax on them, but on the oil producers and keeping up with the market. And so it had an unprecedented 70% approval rating of the voters. And this is very exciting to me because it was a collaborative effort by everybody, and its use was for public safety.
Bingo. And it's the gift that keeps on giving.
Exactly, right. And so we wanted to do this report 10 years later to show the public what benefits they're receiving as a result of this $3.3 million annually for 10 years, which the city has received $33 million as a result of this increase. And it's really beautiful.
This brochure summarizes that fact so well.
And, you know, there's more police officers on the streets today as a result of that. Yeah. They started a crime impact motor unit.
And I know that the amount of the raise was carefully selected. It's still probably less than many surrounding cities, but you didn't want to get into a legal battle with the industry.
Right.
So you raised it enough so they would say, okay, we can live with it.
Yes, it was equitable, it was fair according to all the surrounding cities. The city of Long Beach is now benefiting greatly as a result of more officers and firefighters fighting for them and improving our public safety, because that really is the #1 priority here in our city.
Absolutely, absolutely. The park maintenance orders, tell us about that.
Yes, well, we received a fraud hotline call regarding the parks. Parks are a very important part of our city. It's part of the quality of life here in Long Beach. We have some very beautiful parks that are important to our community and
But
the
some
public.
of the trees are dying.
Yes, they are. So the calls that came in were just that the maintenance hadn't been kept up in the bathrooms, and trash and weeds and other problems. So as we looked into it, we did find that the city had done a good job in expanding and growing the number of parks and park improvements and medians and so forth throughout the city over the past several years, but really hadn't kept up with the maintenance piece, the funding for the maintenance of the parks. And as a result of that, we found 1 in 4 park trees were either dead, dying, or in poor condition. And if the city didn't change the way they were managing their resources or properly allocate funding for the maintenance, we're going to have a long-term problem.
And I know there's also a problem of irrigation. Being on the water board, we have very antiquated irrigation systems on many of the parks, and that needs to be addressed.
Yes, it really does. That water is certainly important, especially in the period of drought that we have experienced. And so we brought this to light. The council is working with the Department of Parks to ensure that they have allocated more money to them. And our audit, one of our recommendations was to really take a step back and look at a strategic plan, have a strategic approach on how we tackle this problem, and look at all options are on the table, non-traditional approaches as well for funding. Look at public-private partnerships. Look at opportunities.
Corporate naming rights?
Exactly, yes. Yeah. So.
Let's just spend a word talking about the fraud hotline, because that has brought in and triggered some useful audits. How does that work?
Yes, we have a fraud hotline, and the number is 1-888-FRAUD-07. So we want to let everyone know.
We're putting that graphic up right now.
Yes, and it's important that the public is aware that we have a fraud hotline, because there's absolutely zero tolerance for fraud. It hurts all of us. In this day and age when there's budget deficits and crisis, we need to make sure all of our money is being used appropriately, honestly, and for the intended purpose.
And there's anonymity is protected for people that call up.
Yes, there's a whistleblower protection. It's 100% confidential.
Yes.
And we have a duty to keep that confidentiality. So it's open 24/7, and we investigate each call appropriately in this. So we encourage the public to call us, even if you're
So
unaware.
if you see something, say something, to use
Exactly.
a phrase that's applied elsewhere. But so
Yes.
it's 1-888-FRAUD-07 if you see something that looks suspicious. Finally, the Knighton Award for Police and Fire Dispatcher Overtime. Tell us briefly about that.
That was another fraud hotline call that we received, and that the overtime was excessive at the Public Safety Dispatch 911 facility. Overtime is always, it's needed at times, but we found there was excessive overtime in the 911 dispatch. The reason was because there were so many vacancies, they had to fill it with overtime. It's a very stressful position. They had a difficult time training and retaining the employees for that position. So part of the recommendation was to improve their recruiting efforts so that they could hire more people so the overtime could go down, because really the core issue was safety. If you're having 911 dispatchers working an excessive amount of overtime,
Yes.
they can be tired, there's employee fatigue and so forth. And so we found this to be a very beneficial audit for the public as well.
And have they hired more people?
They are working on their recruiting efforts and told us that they're making strides in that. We have not gone back yet to review that, but we will.
Okay.
And we're getting positive feedback. so.
Excellent. Okay, in the next segment, we want to get up close and personal with the city auditor. Stay with us.
How do you like your chances the rest of the way?
I got no idea. But I do know that if we stay with Naples Rib Company, at least we won't go hungry.
Coach, what do you think about some of those questionable calls tonight?
Yeah. But if you want a sound call, I'd call Naples Rib Company. You can't miss on that call.
Then Naples Rib Company is part of your game plan?
There really is nothing more motivating than a great barbecue meal at Naples Rib Company.
Victory or not, Naples Rib Company, great game plan.
Founded in 1976, Polly's Gourmet Coffee is Southern California's most complete gourmet coffee store. Polly's has the best tasting coffee, freshly roasted every day right in the store, plus a wide selection of teas, an in-house bakery, espresso bar, patio dining, and more. We also offer Wi-Fi, free internet access for all of our customers. Our nationwide clientele agree when it comes to coffee, there's only one name to remember, Polly's. 4606 East 2nd Street, welcoming you into Belmont Shore.
Phil Trainees mixes California style with continental cuisine that includes fresh seafood from around the world. Since Phil is the chef, the menu has a wide variety of pastas, salads, soups, and appetizers that feature his unique personal touch. And the Italian-American signature dishes are simply beyond delicious. You never know who you're going to run into at Trainees, from the famous sports legends on the Wall of Fame to local celebrities having a drink at the bar. For the best fine dining experience, visit Phil Trainees.
You've been planning this moment for a long time. It couldn't be a more perfect moment. And you have the perfect ring that will tell her, I want to love you forever. But nothing is perfect.
Don't listen to that guy. He got the ring at McCarty's.
McCarty's makes a moment.
We're back with this wonderful conversation with our city auditor, Laura Doud. Laura, auditing, it has to be a very satisfying field to be in, where you are seeing that money is being spent properly and not wasted, and you're at the head of a department, and I know that you give a lot of credit appropriately to your staff in turning out first-rate work.
Thank you. Yes, we do. It's a big city. It's a big responsibility. There's a lot of money, and we want to make sure that the city is spending it appropriately and honestly and responsibly. So we take this position very seriously, and there's still a lot of work to be done.
It never seems to be over, does it?
No. There's a lot to do.
What have you learned in your 10 years? No, it's how many years have you been in office now?
11 and a half.
11 and a half years.
Yeah.
What have you learned about government that you didn't know going in?
Well, it's really wonderful to be able to work for the people. We have just a wonderful city, and the more I get out and meet people, the more I love this community and so many people working together to make Long Beach great. It's a difficult job keeping a big city like this going strong. We have, as you know, a port, the airport, our own water department, beautiful parks and marinas, and it goes on and on. It's a big job. And the commonality we all have is that we love Long Beach. We want to work to make it better. Long Beach has enormous potential.
Yes. And we're on an upward slide now.
Yes, we are. And we have, our office has made ourselves very open to the public so that it's no longer just a one-way communication where we're communicating with them, but all social media channels are open for the public to communicate with us. We're on Facebook and Twitter. Our website has been reinvigorated. It's www.cityauditorlauradoud.com. We have a new app, My Auditor app, where people can report fraud. They can get real-time information from us on what's happening. So we've really tried to keep up with technology so the public can have access quickly to us.
And this makes citizens feel more a part of the city if they are giving suggestions that are incorporated, or if they are calling attention to questionable behavior. It's not just the job of the city auditor to protect money. We all have a role to play.
Exactly right. Our top 3 audits over the past, not this 2017, but in 2016, our top 3 audits were as a result of calls from the public or employees letting us know areas that we needed to look into. So we can't be at all places all the time. We need the eyes and ears of people to let us know.
Well, we thank you for coming here each year and giving us a report on what you're doing.
Well, thank you very much, Art. Thank you very much for having me. Congratulations on 26 years doing this wonderful program. You've done a great job helping us get our message out to the public. Auditing in particular is not always easy to speak about, and sometimes people's eyes glaze over, but you really get it. You understand it. We appreciate you reading our audits and inviting me to come speak about them, asking good questions, having good conversations about this. And I know you're really actively involved in this community. And we appreciate your heart and soul and all that you contribute to making this a great community.
Well, thank you for that. And we'll be back with the rest of our show after these messages.
Phil Trainees mixes California style with continental cuisine that includes fresh seafood from around the world. Since Phil is the chef, the menu has a wide variety of pastas, salads, soups, and appetizers that feature his unique personal touch. And the Italian-American signature dishes are simply beyond delicious. You never know who you're going to run into at Trainees, from the famous sports legends on the Wall of Fame to local celebrities having a drink at the bar. For the best fine dining experience, visit Phil Trainees.
You've been planning this moment for a long time. It couldn't be a more perfect moment. And you have the perfect ring that will tell her, I want to love you forever. But nothing is perfect.
Don't listen to that guy. He got the ring at McCarty's.
McCarty's makes a moment.
There's a world of opportunity available through the College of Continuing and Professional Education at Cal State Long Beach. Would you like to move ahead in the field of human resources and personnel management? Sign up for the Human Resources Management Certificate Program. You'll learn how to expand your knowledge and skills and advance in this dynamic industry. For more information, contact the College of Continuing and Professional Education at Cal State Long Beach.
I think Long Beach is very fortunate to have an auditor of the quality of our city auditor, Laura Doud, and we thank you for your many years of service to Long Beach. And just a personal aside, the fact that she has not had an opponent since her original election in 3 different races, to me says something about the fact that the folks here in Long Beach are quite satisfied with the job you're doing.
Thank you. I hope so.
Let's talk about ethics, because it's something that's near and dear to both of us. It would seem particularly relevant to an auditor to embody ethics.
Yes, and I know that you taught business ethics here, and I had the privilege of coming to speak to your classes a few times, and that's very dear to my heart. It's very important that we are true to our convictions, and part of the city auditor's role is to hold everybody accountable. We are an independent office, as you know, elected by the people. We report to the people. We keep everything very transparent. So all of our reports are posted on our website. As we've mentioned, we run a fraud hotline. We want people to be alert and aware when bad choices are being made, or there's theft or abuse or waste of any government resources whatsoever. We had an incident at the animal care facility a few years back where a city employee embezzled hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Oh my.
It was actually millions. We know because we could kind of project out how long it had been taking place over 20 years, but because it had been a manual system, we didn't have the documentation to prove it had been happening that long.
Oh my.
But we assume that it was. She did confess guilt and went to jail for that, but we did get her on a couple $100,000. And it's just important that we remain true, that the public, that we work to earn the public's trust in what we're doing in government, that their taxpayer dollars are being spent as intended.
And you mentioned a moment ago how the fact we have a elected city auditor in Long Beach, and you're responsible to the people that elected you, not to the city council, not to the mayor. Your primary client, if you will, is the people.
Yes, exactly. So this is who we work for, and we, as mentioned earlier, we do need their help, and we need their ideas.
It takes a woman to do it, really. That will sound wrong, but I know one of the early auditors, because you have a photograph of her up on the wall. What's her name? With a very
Mertel Gunzel.
Yes. Way back,
right
before women were able to get these kind of jobs, she, I guess, was elected.
Yes, she was, right in 1919 when women had the right to vote. And so it was a wonderful thing that she was elected.
Oh, that's
and she
right. The women get the right, and she's right in there.
Right in there for 32 years.
God bless her. What's her name again?
Mertel Gunzel.
Let's remember. Remember that name. Yes. I can't even repeat it now.
Mertel Gunzel.
Well, yes. Laura Doud, it's a lot easier to say, and thank you again for joining us.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to be on your show. Appreciate it.
And thank you guys for watching. Please be with us next week for the next edition of Straight Talk. Good night, everyone.
Straight Talk has been brought to you by the Port of Long Beach, the Press Telegram, and Scan Health Plan. And remember, Straight Talk is viewable 24/7 at straighttalktv.com.